Hey there guys, how's it going? Welcome to some gameplay for the closed beta from The Crew. If you don't know what this game is, it's a driving game that will be coming out later this year in November, and it's trying to do a couple of things different. It's trying to be a bit of an MMO RPG game, and the main draw of this game is the huge map. The map is absolutely huge. Obviously it's a scaled down kind of fantasy version of the United States, and it kind of covers all the different kind of areas, and it has a lot of the main landmarks that exist in the United States. Now, if you want to get an idea for how big the map is, to travel from one side to the other in your car is going to take you about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. If you want to do a whole lap, that would take maybe 3 or 4 hours. And from one side to the other, so from the bottom right hand corner to the top left hand corner, should I say southeast to northwest, is about 92 miles. That's not as the crow flies, which is a direct line, but taking the roads, that is 92 miles. I believe there is thousands of miles of road to drive in this game, and there's no loading screens either. It's a consistently persistent world. There's lots of skill games as you drive around. Obviously in the main towns and cities there's different skill games, races, whatever. You rank up. As you rank up you get better cars, different cars, and all that kind of stuff. So what I've done in this video is, in the gameplay I'm going to have some actual landmarks that are in the game, some ones that you might want to see. We've got in here Miami, Los Angeles, New York, San Francisco, a meteor crate, we've got the Grand Canyon, we've got Detroit, so lots of different landmarks, not absolutely everything, but some of the cool stuff that I thought you would like to see. So I've made a list of, after playing the beta for a couple of days, I've reached the max rank that you can reach in the beta, and most of the beta gameplay centers around Detroit and a little bit in Chicago. Then after that, although you are free to explore the rest of the world, you can drive around, all of the missions and skill challenges and stuff like that aren't available. There is actually some PvP races you can do online, but not many people are in there at the moment. You have to hit max rank, and then you have to be searching for PvP to do that. So I've got a list of all the positive things that I like about this beta, and the negative things that I dislike about it, and then obviously from my gameplay and my kind of views on it, you can make your own mind up as to what you think about it. Now I'll do a little bit of a spoiler alert in case you don't want to watch the whole video. I've got about 15 things I like and about 3 I don't. So generally I'm really enjoying this game. I absolutely love it. Those of you who know my channel and my Let's Play channel, I absolutely love games like Need for Speed and Burnout Paradise, especially Burnout Paradise. That has always been my #1 driving game since it came out, and this looks like it might be able to topple it. It's very similar to Burnout, but obviously on a much bigger scale. It's got real life cars, bloody blah. Anyway, I'll go into those details. I'm going through the things that I like about the game. So first off of it is the incredible map. Obviously that goes without saying. If you've seen it and you actually drive across it, it really is amazing. They've got all the different styles of cities and kind of different landscapes you'd expect in the United States, and I have to say, out of all of these cities, the only ones I know really well, I mean I know New York quite well from obviously a lot of TV and films, but Los Angeles in particular. I was in Los Angeles just a couple of months ago, and they have really nailed some of the Los Angeles sites. They've got the Staples Center, they've got the Convention Center that I went to, really well represented. It's a very realistic looking, obviously not a one-to-one, or obviously not a scale model or anything like that, but there are some definitely very recognizable sites, and they've made an effort to make it look a lot like the real thing. It's not just completely, you know, oh we'll call this town and slap in some buildings. They've obviously spent a lot of time making sure that a lot of the sites look similar to how they look in real life. The other things I like, there's obviously an incredible amount to do. I mean, you'd expect that in a game like this, but you can just tell from driving around all the little things that pop up that when this game comes out, there's going to be a lot to do. I mean, just driving across every road is going to be the first thing I'm going to want to do. I love games where you can explore things, and that kind of really is enjoyable for me. So a game like this is going to be something I'm going to really love. Tons of customization in the cars, all the customization you would expect. Loads of paint jobs, stickers, logos, rims, performance enhancements, all that good stuff. There's also a perk system as well that you can get little increases in little things that affect the performance of your car. Another big plus point for me is that it has real life cars. These are actual cars that you can buy in real life, and that doesn't always happen in some of these games. Obviously car manufacturers recently have thought, you know, maybe we should allow our licenses on these games to help promote our cars, and that's just a really cool thing. Obviously it wasn't in Burnout Paradise, so it's nice that it's in this game. Also, another plus point is the friends drop in. There's obviously a lot of emphasis here on playing with your friends, and it automatically syncs you up with your friends in your lobbies and so on when you're playing. So obviously it's always online, persistent world, and as you go in, it will normally drop you and your friends in together, so you have to worry about sending invites in general to play with your friends. It will just drop you in, and there you go. You can invite them in if you want, or maybe do some PvP or some challenges, or do a road trip, or you can just leave them to their own devices and all of that stuff. Another thing I quite like is that although there is some damage to the cars, so it's not completely unrealistic, the damage doesn't really affect the driving performance, and you don't completely wipe out your car. Sometimes you can, and it just resets you if you do a really big crash, but in general, little knocks and scrapes you take will heal over time, and they're not too annoying. And I think that's important in a game like this, where you are going to take a lot of little like scrapes and things. You don't want to have to travel all the way across the map with like a broken windshield just because you had one little incident earlier on in the map. So I think it's good that it constantly repairs like that, and it does have some damage but not too much. Another good thing that's in the beta is you have the ability to fast travel to anywhere that you have driven before. So it doesn't even have to be a set like waypoint or anything. If you've driven over to Los Angeles and in that general area, you can fast travel to any single road that you have been on or even near. And that is really good, because what it gives you an emphasis to do is to explore the map, go and drive around it. I know I've driven around probably 60-70% of the map already, and when I go on again, I want to just drive around the rest, so I know I can just quickly go to a certain point if I want to go there. Also, they have car interiors in this game. This is definitely a plus point. Not all of the dials are working, but the speedometer works in the game and the rev counter works. I don't think some of the other little mileage things and that stuff like that works, but they do have car interiors and actual people driving the cars. Not all games in this style have really good interiors, but they were really good from what I've seen. I'm driving the Mustang in this. I've got a gold version, which is my street car, and I've got a purple version, which is my off-road version. But the interiors are very nice, and in this actual beta, you get to drive a few different cars without having to actually own them. There's an Aston Martin and there's an off-road thing, different cars like that. Also, another plus point is there's a good soundtrack. The songs are really good in the soundtrack. I've actually got them off in this demo because I don't want any YouTube copyright issues. However, I have to say, I don't know if it's maybe because it's in the beta, but there did seem to be a lack of songs. A game like this, you're going to spend a lot of time playing if you enjoy driving games. And some of them start to repeat quite like noticeably. So the amount of songs in the game isn't that huge, if this is going to be the final amount of songs in the game. But also, I've heard that you can add your own playlist. Maybe if you're playing on PC, I suppose that would be a definite, but I'm not sure about the consoles. Those of you wondering, I haven't actually mentioned, this game's coming out on PC, Xbox One and PS4. Now, another thing that I like, and I suppose this kind of goes with the map, is just the epic road trips you can have. Just the epic road trips from one side to another. There's something really satisfying for me with driving games of just kicking back, relaxing, and just enjoying the views, going at high speeds. There's enough going on with the driving to keep your mind interested in what's going on screen, but not too much so that you can't relax. For me, games like this are very relaxing, and Red Dead Redemption Free Roam was very relaxing for me as well, the way you could just travel around on your horse, do little things here and there. And for me, this game definitely has that kind of vibe I'm feeling. I'm thinking, oh, I might just drive from New York to Miami, and for me that'll be, you know, half hour or an hour of just relaxing, listening to songs, and I really like that kind of feel that the game has. There's also pedestrians in the game, which I didn't really have to add into the game, but that's kind of cool, and wildlife in the game. From what I've noticed, it doesn't seem like you can really actually run over pedestrians or wildlife. I don't know if you actually can, but it seems like they always manage to get out of the way. Another nice feature is some of the functionality that they've added. You can actually, on the fly, change your car. So you don't have to go to a garage to change to a different car that you own. You just press the button to bring up your little phone style thing, and then you can instantly bring one of your cars to where you are on the map. That's a real nice feature, which just makes it more fun than having to drive to your garage and then drive from your garage to where you want to go and all that kind of stuff. So that's a nice feature. And you can also make little changes to your car on the fly. Another nice thing with this game is as long as you can actually drive across the terrain, you can go completely off-road if you'd like to, especially out in Los Angeles and Grand Canyon. There's a lot of areas where you just want to kind of go across the fields, and you can do that. In the more built-up areas, there's normally some things in the way to stop you going, you know, completely across certain areas, but it's like that in cities anyway, so that's quite realistic. So a nice feature of this game is that you can just drive practically anywhere, and not many driving games of this type have had that and give you that much freedom. So that's really cool. Now, the story, from what I've seen, is kind of decent. For me, I don't really care about the story, but I have to say it's a plus point that they've actually managed to put together quite a nice story. The cutscenes are quite good and interesting. It's a little bit stereotypical. It's not going to blow your mind, this story, but it's enough to keep you interested if you are interested in the story that the game has got to tell. Like, some of the characters I found a bit cheesy and like a bit obvious. You know, the typical like, oh man, dude, I don't know, it's just some of the words they use just seem a bit like caricature, so the characters are a bit I'm not so great on, but the cutscenes are good and the story in general is perfectly fine for a game like this. This is a game that I'm not really going to be interested in the story. I'm just going to be doing free roam non-stop until I can't drive anymore. When it comes to other players in the map as well, you'd think it'd be quite annoying with people constantly wiping you out. I don't know if there's a certain setting or something, but you don't really seem to wipe each other out very much. You can nudge each other and so on, but you don't really seem to go into these massive crashes. So people that are trying to just run you over and annoy you all the time don't seem to have that much effect on you, so that's another good point. Finally, I'll add a couple of things that I don't like about the beta and that I think should be changed maybe for the final game. The microphones are on by default. I don't know why anyone does this. They did this with another game recently, I can't remember what it was, but by default microphones are off, and if you actually change your settings so that there's no settings so you can just automatically always have them off. You have to change it every time that you go into a new lobby. Now obviously that's something they can change, but it's very annoying at the moment because obviously people's mics are on, they don't even realise it, and it's a bit of a Nigel nightmare. Also, there is a 30 frames per second lock on PC. Now, don't mean to be a conspiracy theorist, but I feel like they've done this so that they can, so that the PS4 and the Xbox One versions don't look that bad compared to the PC versions. I know they kind of did that a bit with Watch Dogs, where they almost dumbed it down a little bit so that the PC version and the console versions were comparable. And I feel like they should put this to 60 FPS or just have unlimited FPS and maybe some bit better graphics for the PC. Because although this game is not bad looking at all, I'd call it kind of average looking for standards these days, but once you take into account the size and the scope of the game, I definitely will forgive it that. The fact that it's not absolutely out there breaking boundaries. It does look very nice and sometimes it does look good, but it's definitely not a what would you call a spectacularly good looking game. And I feel like the PC version could be pushed a little bit more. I mean, I've got a 780 Ti and you know, I could happily push some of these settings obviously on my PC, so it'd be nice to be able to do that and hopefully just have more general PC custom settings. Although this is a beta on the PC and it does run well in general, but I don't like the 30 FPS lock. So that's it for my views on the beta of The Crew. Let me know what you think from the gameplay. I just got very lucky and got a beta key. I'm definitely looking forward to this. I'm actually thinking this might be a contender for being my favourite driving game ever over Burnout Paradise. Just all the little extra features like real life cars, good interiors, a huge world. It's going to be a game I'm going to really love, and I wanted to make this video just to showcase to you all the stuff I like. There are a lot of people who don't seem to like this game from what they've seen. I don't know if they're just being negative or, you know, they're just being really picky about things, but it looks great to me. So anyway, smash the like button as well if you'd like to see more videos about The Crew and if you enjoyed this breakdown that I've provided for you today, and I will see you guys next time.